Say, kids, what time is it?
It's kind of like watching TV, but, in your car.
104.7 The K, Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens in the studio, Dark Side of the Stream, episode 146. This week was Jay's pick, and he selected the Netflix series Quarterback, which probably one of the most requested episodes we've done.
Yeah, this was
Everyone's
kind
like,
of
you watch it? Yeah, you watch it.
This was one of those. No, it's just like, all right.
I had to do it.
It was a softball. Basically.
It was, and as we do, we have 4 segments of this show that we do every week, and the fourth being the one where we kind of talk about our review of the documentary, recap, and then what we're going to talk about next week. So it's actually perfect because then that means we have 3 segments, which means we can talk about each quarterback that is talked about in this documentary series, Quarterback, in each segment,
which I liked because
I'd like that as well.
3 distinct different spots in their career, different paths in their career,
different paths,
very cool, man. Very
different
cool.
styles,
like so. Do you
teams?
This is what I was just talking about this last night.
Different cultures.
Do you think they only filmed these 3 quarterbacks for the season, or do you think that they filmed a bunch of them? And these have the 3
they had to
stories.
They had to pick them straight out because you had to have the access all season long.
Okay, well,
they
they got a gold mine by these 3 because the 3 pass or like you couldn't have scripted it.
Well,
I
think that was by design.
Well, that's why I'm saying, like, if you think preseason they kind of picked.
Oh, I think they were talking about this well before the preseason. So if you look behind the curtain, this documentary series Quarterback is done by 2 different production companies in conjunction with NFL Films, who obviously own the rights to anything that's recorded with the NFL. Omaha Productions and 2 PM Productions. Peyton Manning owns Omaha Productions. Patrick Mahomes owns 2 PM Productions. So this was really behind Patrick and Peyton and their money. So then while Jay figures out his phone and sunglasses situation, there's where you go. Now, again, it wouldn't be too much to say, okay, we get Patrick involved because he's the EP on this thing. And then we need to get someone that's at the tail end of their career, but also who is relevant. Kirk Cousins fits that bill really well because we're watching a changing of the guard as far as the youngins taken away from the vets in the quarterback game. Most of the quarterbacks are super young now. And if you look across the league, that's the thing. Marcus Mariota kind of fits into the
journeyman kind of maybe.
The journeyman realm and in between. And I really think that's where we should start this conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
And really I wanted to bring him up first because he's your boy.
Holla,
oh my God, pull your pants back up.
Hawaii.
So did you ever hear anything about this dude?
No, I was
you don't really, I mean, other than until the last few years of him working at 104.7 The Cave, I don't think Jay ever watched a football game in his life, to be quite honest, until he started seeing someone who's like a rabid fan.
You've had a couple guys from Hawaii over the years that have done that have been big prospects, but they kind of petered out in the NFL,
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
But it's just that same Hawaii vibe, kind of a chill cat. I enjoyed watching the home life of the wives on all these too, like the dynamic they have at home
with their families.
Yeah, if you notice, they're all pretty chill cats.
You have to. I would assume you'd have to have a pretty. Either you have to be very smart, like just to even make it.
Oh yeah,
like
the studying the plays. How Mariota and his wife she'd be helping him study the plays. Yeah. I mean, amazing.
I mean, Dana said it when we were down doing our Chiefs Happy Hour this year. You look at where the DB's lining his foot up on the hash. 80% of the time he's going to do this. 15% of the time he's going to do this, and then 5% of the time
that's a lot of stuff to know, man.
And that's just one player. You're looking at 11 people all memorizing what each 11 people are going to be doing in regards to what your job is and how you get beyond them. And you can see when you look at these quarterbacks how their mind works, how they read that, some better than others, some faster than others. But yeah, Marcus, I don't want to say like it was kind of bust, but it was definitely the least entertaining portion of the
it was
series.
Weird though that there was a little controversy there on when he had that surgery, when he got bench surgery. It seemed like there was they made it sound like he just disappeared on the team, kind of like that was kind of weird. I was like, oh man, this is some juicy story.
Well, and I think he kind of felt like he needed to take care of himself.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And again, you kind of I don't want to put this out there because obviously I'm sure there are some fans, and now he's currently with the Philadelphia Eagles. He was with the Falcons.
Well, that's a great backup because that Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts was having the game of. I mean, he was going to be the MVP until that one play changed the game. Basically,
Yep.
He played a very good game. So that's a strong team. They'll probably again be a Super Bowl contender with
Yeah,
Chiefs.
and again, these guys are getting paid so much money to throw a ball and or protect themselves from getting hit by a 350-pound
and play
guy
a game, basically,
play a game.
Yeah,
but be very
Awesome.
smart. So again, Marcus Journeyman, it was interesting to see his perspective. But we will talk about the old man in the group, Kirk Cousins, next. Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave. Mike Intern, Jay Stevens back in the studio. It is Dark Side of the Stream, episode 146, quarterback on Netflix. So we discussed Marcus Mariota and what he did kind of in this documentary. The second guy we're going to discuss in quarterback is Kirk Cousins, who is the old dog of the bunch.
Hey, very likable guy.
Very cool dude. Very big family man. You definitely
Very
get
good,
that.
yeah,
I mean,
very
very,
man,
very
devoted
rooted
guy.
in his religion, in his faith, and his family. And
quite the dancer.
he can get jiggy with it, as the kids say. Last season I think was a really magical time for him because the Vikings started to come on, and when you have a team like that, especially when he has just been battling for the last 3-4 years in Minnesota, to finally see them come on is really good. And not to say that I'm just like Chiefs or die for me, but when you see those successes, especially
you have to
he's almost
appreciate
an underdog.
You have to love those storylines. I mean, because I'm Saints fan and Chiefs fan here by relation, but when Minnesota, the Saints were going to win that one playoff game, and he just had that one lucky massive play. It's like right at the end of the
Tossed
game.
it up.
Dude, man, come on. You got to respect it, man. You got to be happy for the guy.
You do. Danon also, I thought, had something very, very crucial to say when we were talking about, or maybe it was Mitch, I can't remember. It was one of the two. When we were talking about this at the Chiefs Happy Hour, and it was, look at the way the team deals with these quarterbacks. For example, when Patrick Mahomes comes off the field, he's surrounded.
Boom.
He's surrounded by his quarterback coach. He's surrounded by wide receiver coaches. What are you seeing? This is what we see. They're complete, and then players are coming up to him. He's engaging with players. Sometimes
he's the leader, true leader.
We will talk about Patrick later, but you see that immediately. It's just like this constant, just revolving door conversation that's happening. Kirk Cousins comes off the field. Nobody's talking to him.
By himself, smashing his helmet on the sideline.
He's by himself. And I don't think he's a good leader, and you get that, but there's a difference between there's a difference between a leader in which you're just delegating, and then there's one where you're in the trenches with your guys and you do from the front. And I think even though he is the quarterback, Patrick Mahomes does a lot better job of that. Not to knock Kirk, but that's a big deal that I saw. One of the big takeaways, which I mean, if you look at Kirk Cousins' records, for example, most game-winning drives in a single season, 8.
He's
most fourth quarter comebacks in a single season, 8. Largest comeback deficit, which I thought that would have went to Mahomes, but that was actually Kirk Cousins with 33 points.
I still thought it was Manning, so I would learn something there. Remember the Colts when they came back that one game?
Yeah,
gosh.
I just Kirk Cousins, not that flashy, but when you look at what he can do and what he has done, solid performer, and you should be very lucky he's on your team. Now, speaking of luck, we are very lucky. Number 15 is in Kansas City.
Incredible.
And if this documentary series doesn't sell you on that, I don't know what will.
We'll talk about sells you on that.
We'll talk about Patrick Mahomes next. Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave. Mike Intern, Jay Stevens back in the studio. Dark Side of the Stream, episode 146, discussing quarterback on Netflix. So now we can talk about Patrick Mahomes. I'll ask you this first, sir, as a outsider. Obviously, and what I mean by that is,
I'm not the biggest.
You weren't born and raised red and gold like I was.
No, I'm a Chiefs fan by association here.
What did you see as after watching Patrick Mahomes in this documentary?
I think what I took away the biggest was that like he's a very involved leader, but his training regimen, and that's coming from with martial arts type training and stuff too. It's if you watch his training regimen compared to everybody else, doing those really weird position workouts, and weird precision throws. That's how he's doing all this magic on the field. It's not like he's just making it up on
No.
the field. This is put in hours and hours of being in these weird spots so you're comfortable when the time comes, comfortable in the chaos, it was amazing, man. It was incredible.
You talk about preparation.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I always talk about Kobe, right? Even when he was the best in the league,
still
he was there 2 hours before guys and there 2 hours after. And there is a reason for
jump
that.
Shots, yeah.
Exactly. Because he might not ever have to take that shot. Ever from that position on that situation or whatever. But he's going to practice 1,000 times for the 1% chance that he's going to have to take that shot, and he's prepared for it. And Patrick Mahomes is the same. I mean, of course, the kid has just got an incredible football mind, and what he's able to see and how he's gotten so much faster as he's gone on reading defenses and being able to communicate that.
The competitive, I have to win. I have to be the best.
It's
like when they were going to pull him when he was injured. He's like, no, I'm good. I'm good. He's like, I'm good.
Barely
you can see
walking.
He was not good. He's like, I'm good. Don't worry.
And
he's like, I'm not coming out of this game.
He still didn't even know.
Woo, I got goosebumps just thinking
when they were going in to take the X-ray on that high ankle sprain, he still, even though he was more than prepared to go back out there and do it, he had no idea if it was broken or not. No. He knew that it was bad,
he's like,
as soon as you could see it on his face when they gave him the clear and he's hobbling back out there, he was so happy because it wasn't it wasn't ending. And Chad Henne, God love him, came in and did what he had to do.
Yeah, he did get in there and get some magic.
Which I kind of wish, he would have had a little bit of.
He's a nice guy,
too. I would wish Henne had got a little bit more screen time, even though he is the backup. Maybe that's what they do next year. Maybe they just follow the backup
now here's
QBs.
The thing. They're going to do season 2 next year. They have already said. Now, I don't think they're going to follow the same 3.
No, they can't.
But you kind of have to follow Mahomes because he's probably the odds-on favorite to do it again.
Again, I mean, you can't predict the future.
That's why I'm saying that they had to have followed several guys, and then they picked the 3 best stories.
Well, no, because I mean,
how'd you get this lucky? I mean, unless you just got this lucky that you had 3 perfect, distinct stories.
It would have just.
What if you had 3 Kirk Cousins? It wouldn't have been as good of a show. Or like 3 that level players.
But again, like I said, it was perfect. You got the young kid who's taken over. You got the journeyman who's in about midway of his career, and you got a guy who's at the end of his career. So who do
they do it on next year? Joe Burrow?
Burrow would probably be a candidate, even though I probably wouldn't watch it if he's in it because I can't stand that guy.
Brady's already out. Who's another aging star?
Probably Josh Allen would be another one.
Middle of the road guy, or no? He's kind of like right there with Burrow, isn't he?
Yeah, Burrow.
So
Allen.
You got to get one clear-cut winner, one middle of the road, and one guy who's going to struggle. So Burrow probably clear-cut winner, right?
Well, what about
Jalen Hurts?
So there's 3 right there. No. Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts.
No, but those guys are all top tier.
So we need to break it out a little bit.
I'm saying get a top tier, get a middle of the road, and get a bottom.
Okay.
Who do you think? So I would say Jalen Hurts or Josh Burrow.
Hold on. Okay, so I'm looking at the rankings going into the season based off NFL.
Just throw the names and if
so
I hear
Jalen
the names,
Hurts after Mahomes, who's number 1,
right.
Jalen Hurts number 2. So
and
it
Joe
would be
Burrow.
it would be a smart play. But again, this is another thing too you have to consider. The NFL Players Association has an agreement with the NFL that states outside of what you have to do in game, they cannot tell you to do a damn thing. So ultimately, it comes down to the individual. Of course, Patrick Mahomes is going to be in it because it was his production studio, it was his money. Of course,
he's going to. Bro.
So Jalen could just say, "I don't want the distraction. Stay away from me."
You also,
Joe
though,
could do it.
Also
Josh
might want
could do
that hype, though. You might want that hype too.
So
Jalen Hurts or Joe Burrow.
or Josh Allen
for the top tier. Now, what about the middle of the road tier?
You could say, well, what about Tua, Trevor Lawrence, Jared Goff would be another good suggestion.
Yes, yeah,
Geno Smith. I mean, come on, the dude's an old dog. He'd be another Court Cousins.
Garoppolo.
Dak Prescott could also be.
What about the one that just came to the Saints?
What about Lamar Jackson?
The guy that just came to the Saints.
Justin Fields could be a guy. Brock Purdy, Aaron Rodgers. What about Aaron Rodgers? Kyler Murray.
That's the aging star. Okay, Aaron Rodgers is the aging star.
We just named 15.
Okay, now bottom of the barrel. Who is the one that's going to struggle and maybe get benched?
I mean, right now at 32,
Garoppolo,
according to NFL, Zach It's 32. I don't want to watch that. Davis Mills from the Texans, Matt Ryan, Colts.
Matt Ryan. Okay, Matt Ryan. Those are probably
two from the Washington Commanders.
Okay.
Good. Or no, I don't want to. They're definitely not going to touch Deshaun Watson with the 10-foot pole. Russell Wilson. That could be an interesting one.
Yeah. All right. So there's some good options.
There are. But again, it's really going to come down to the guys that want to do it or not. We went way long on this. We got to talk about how we thought about it.
We went deep on it.
Next, Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The K. 104.7 The K. Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens back in the studio one more time. It is Jay's in there doing his thing. We are
just in case they need me to pull me off the bench.
It'd be just like that Always Sunny episode.
You'd run
that route, and as soon as that ball hit you, boom, out, knocked.
That Lombardi Trophy's coming next week, and my show is right at the end of the parade is a machine gun show.
Yeah, we'll be there on the 11th. It should be a good time.
Cheerleaders, Chiefs cheerleaders, come get it.
Yep, it's gonna be a good time. And obviously a lot of Chiefs fans. So I would give this a solid 4, probably.
I'm gonna go more than that. I'm gonna go 4.5.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe a 5. It was really, like I said, they hit the gold mine with the 3 different storylines.
I thought the top was 4. Okay, then 5.
Yeah, in the top 5.
We go. Yeah.
I think the top is 5, right?
Yeah.
So okay, 5. We're 5. What? 5 footballs?
Yeah. 5 broken helmets. I don't know. 5 concussions. Either
5
way,
concussions.
Yeah, it was perfect, especially for a guy who loves football, who lives and breathes Chiefs football, to watch the fact that our quarterback is just on top of the world and that he continues to prove to us that he just wants to win championships. The money will take care of itself.
Yeah.
You can see guys around the league that just care about the bag.
He's doing okay on the money.
He's doing phenomenally. And
that house that he built, it's pretty sweet crib for a guy who's 27? How old is he? Mahomes?
Patrick Mahomes. I don't even think he's 20.
Like 27.
I think he's like 25, 26.
Bro.
Yeah, he just turned 27.
God.
Yeah. He turns 28.
When we were 27, what were we doing?
I don't want to talk about it on the air. Either way, next week for Dark Side of the Stream is my pick. We're going to do a caper documentary, if you will, on Hulu. It's called The Jewel Thief. Hour and a half, should be pretty cool. Talking about Gerald Blanchard's surprising first-hand account as a calculating and accomplished criminal mastermind.
Hey, I love
this kid.
Stories.
Looks like he could be shopping at Hot Topics, so that should be.
And he's a jewel thief.
Yeah,
an emo kid.
We might be learning something from this dude. As always, you can watch us do this live on Facebook every Thursday 9 a.m. or listen to it on my show at the same time, or Jay's at 6 p.m. or as a podcast on our 104.7 The Cave app. I am Mike the Intern. That's Jay Stevens, and we're reminding you we watch movies so you don't have to. It's Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave.